the term colored was definitely a doozy, and we must talk about it. You see, before 1865, colored was just a term that the state slapped on people that they believed were of mixed race. Some of the people were, maybe some of the people wasn't. Who's to say? However, that was the term for those people. After 1865, white people, for some strange reason, I don't know why, they got this whole idea of racial purity. I don't know where they got that from. I guess maybe after they couldn't, take advantage of enslaved black women anymore, racial purity became a priority, but that became the priority. So with racial purity came the one drop rule. And what the one drop rule said was that if you have one drop of Negro blood in you, you are a Negro. So that group of colored people was forced into the Negro category. The state didn't care if they were mixed with something other than Negro, if they were mixed with Negro, whatever. The state cared that they were not white. So since they were not white, they were forced into the Negro category. Remember I told y'all about the Lumbee. The Lumbee fought hard not to go into that category because the Lumbee understood one thing, that once you get forced into the Negro category, you are subjected to Negro laws. The Jim Crow laws will now apply to you. And what did I tell y'all about Jim Crow laws? That was unchecked, unpunished unalivings of our people. So a lot of these people fought hard against that. That is the nuance that I'm going to give. However, the Lumbee was not the only group that fought against being classified as Negro. We must understand that there were several groups. In particular, we had the Melungeons. They were a group who fought hard against being considered Negro or classified as Negro. They actually told the story of being a descendant of some Phoenician queen. There was a Melungeon lady who went to court to fight against being labeled Negro, and that was the story that she... Yes, that was her story. However, the historical record shows that it did not work out well for her. However, the historical record also shows that many Melungeon people, they claimed Portuguese ancestry. I don't know. Could be possible, but they were not the only ones. We had the Brass Ankles in South Carolina. This was another group that the state considered biracial, a mixed race group with mixed race ancestry, who fought not to be considered Negro and not to be classified as Negro. We had a group down in Louisiana and Texas called the Yellowbones. They fought hard not to be Negro. You have to understand that once you were reclassified or classified as a Negro, you were socially, economically confined to the Negro race, right? So that means you can only go to school with Negroes, you can only marry Negroes, you can only live with Negroes and build community with Negroes. So for 200 years, Negroes did that. These groups branched off and went to live in their own little isolated communities. This is why Black American culture absorbs everything, because instead of them joining us to have a merger like what happened in Louisiana, and I'll talk about that, they went on to isolate themselves. We don't know much about these people. We don't know much about their culture, but we know everything about real nigga culture, right? So let me tell you about what happened in Louisiana. So the French-speaking freedmen, the dark-skinned Creole who was emancipated, this particular group was segregated alongside of us. And instead of them resisting, because they already knew, like, we all the same, like, we all the fucking same here, we all in the same boat. Instead of them resisting, we had a merger. That merger created jazz. That merger created Creole food. That merger created that New Orleans tradition and New Orleans culture. When y'all see people say, oh, New Orleans is different, that's because that was a merger of Francophone Black American culture and Anglophone Black American culture. These other groups, they didn't want to be a part of that. So there you have it.